friends, how are you all? I hope you are fine and doing great. So, in today's class, we are going to do chapter number 7, that is experiments with water for class 5th for environmental studies. So, let's start. What float, what sinks? Aisha was waiting for dinner. Today, Ammi was making her favorite food, puri and spicy potatoes. Aisha watched as her mother rolled out the puri and put it in the hot oil. She saw that at first the puri sank to the bottom of the pan. As it puffed up, the puri came up and started floating on the oil. One puri did not puff up and did not float like the others. On seeing this, Aisha took some dough and rolled it into a ball. She flattened it and put in a bowl of water. Alas, it sank to the bottom and stayed there. So let's know the meaning for the words that we have read. That Aisha was waiting for the dinner, and today her mother was making her favorite food, that were puri and spicy potatoes. So Aisha was watching her mother rolling out the puri, and her mother kept the puri in the hot oil. She also saw that at first the puri sank to the bottom of the pan, and as it puffed up, the puri came up and started floating on the oil. One puri did not puff up and it did not float like the others. So, on seeing this, Aisha took a what Aisha did, that she took a dough of this is a dough of wheat, and what did she did, she rolled it into a ball. This is a piece of dough, and then she rolled it into a ball, and after what she did, she flattened it up, and she flattened means to just make it to the shape of flat. Then what she did is that she just kept it in the bowl full of water. So the dough that she kept sank to the bottom and stayed there. Now let's answer these questions. Aisha put a puff puri in a bowl of water. Would it sink or float? Let's see that. So here we are with the answer key. First question, Aisha put a puff puri in a bowl of water. Would it sink or float? So it would float. You put a steel plate on water. Would it sink or float? What would happen to a spoon? If the steel plate is put carefully over the surface of water, it would float. However, the spoon will sink. Okay. Then, would the cap of a plastic bottle sink or float on water? So here cap has came 2 times, so cap is not getting the question. The answer is it would float. It would float. Okay. Moving forward. Let's come back to our topic. In the evening, Aisha went for a bath. She had just come out when her mother called, Aisha, you have dropped the soap in the water again. Take it out and put it in the soap case. Aisha was in a hurry and the soap case fell out of her hands. It started floating on water. Aisha gently put the soap in the soap case. She saw that the case continued to float even with the soap in it. Have you seen that something float on water while others sink? Think how this happens. The poem here raises such questions. So, let's see the meaning for this. So, in the evening, Aisha went for a bath. She just came out when her mother said, Aisha, you have dropped the soap in the bucket again. So take it out and put it in the soap case back. So Aisha was in a hurry and the soap case fell from her hand into the bucket. So when she saw it started floating on water. Aisha gently kept the soap on the soap case. She saw that the case continued to float even with the soap in it. Have you ever seen that something float on water while others sink? Think how this happens. The poem here raises such questions. So why, oh why? A wooden boat in water will float, but a needle will sink. Why does this happen? Let me think. An iron ship will also float, though it's much heavier than my boat. But a needle, light as a leaf, thin as a pin, will sink right in. Why does this happen? Let me think. So here is the answer for the question that was, have you seen that something float on water while of her sink? Think how this happens. So yes, I think that when water displaced by anything is greater than its weight, it floats on water, otherwise it sinks. Okay. Okay, do this and find out. Do this experiment in groups of 4 friends. Each group will need a big pot filled with water and the things listed in the table. Put each thing one by one in water and observe. Write your observation in the table given on the next page. So mark tick for the things that float, mark cross for the things that sink. So this you have to do yourself, and this is your homework, and in the next class we are going to discuss it. Then find out from the other groups which things floated and which sank in the. So the answer is a football, a piece of thermocol, etc. float on water, while a cricket ball, a spoon, etc. sink. After doing the experiment, the iron nail sank in the water, but the katori floated. I think this happened because the weight of the water displaced by the iron was less than it, but the weight of water displaced by the katori was more than it. The empty plastic bottle floated on water. The bottle filled with water sank because the weight of the water displaced by the empty plastic bottle was more than its weight, but the weight of the bottle filled with water was more than that of the weight of the water displaced by it. The aluminum foil floated when it was spread out, were pressed tightly into a ball it sank. This may have happened because the weight of the aluminum foil is less than that of a water displaced by it, but the weight of aluminum ball is more than that of the water displaced by it. Then, is it magic? When Aisha woke up in the morning, Ammi had fever. Abu made some tea and went to give medicines to Ammi. He told Aisha, "You boil eggs, also put some salt in the water." Aisha took water in the pot. By mistake, she put too much salt in the water. She saw that the eggs at the bottom of the pot come up a little and start to float in water. So what happened was that when Aisha woke up in the morning, she got to know that her mother was having fever, and her father made her some tea, and then he went to give medicines to her mother. Then his father told her that she has to boil the eggs and she has to add some salt in the water when she is going to boil the eggs. Then Aisha took the water in a pot, but by mistake she put too much of salt in the water. She saw that the eggs at the bottom of the pot were coming up a little and were starting to float in water. Now here are a few experiments that you have to do. That take some water in a glass, put a lemon on it. Now keep putting salt in the water, half a spoon at a time. Were you able to float your lemon in water? So if you were, so you write yes, and if you were not, so then write no. Yes or no. What do you think? The lemon floated in salty water because of the density. You're going to learn about density in deep in your further classes. Dead Sea. All oceans and seas have salty water. The saltiest of all is the Dead Sea. How salty? Imagine 300 grams of salt in one water. It would be very bitter in 1 liter of water. Would you be able to even taste such salty water? It would be very bitter. Interestingly, even if a person does not know how to swim, she would not drown in this sea. She will float in water as if lying down on it. Remember the lemon you floated in salty water? What dissolved, what did not? One Sunday, Aisha's cousin brother Hamid came to her house to play. As soon as he came, he asked his aunt to make his favorite shakkar para, a sweet dish. Ammi said, "Let me come back from the market, then I will make some for you." "Why don't you help me?" "Take 2 glasses of water and put a bowl of sugar in it. Mix it till it dissolves." Hamid thought, "Let me finish this work fast, then I will watch TV. Suggest some ways to Hamid for quick dissolving sugar. Do this experiment. Make groups of 4 friends. For the experiment, you will need 4 to 5 glasses or bowls, spoons, water, and things listed in the table. Take some water in each glass. Now try to dissolve one thing in one glass. Observe that appears and note in it. So, let's find out the answer. So here it is, salt. Did it dissolve or not? Yes. And what happened after keeping for 2 minutes? The salt and water got mixed together completely. Soil. No. Soil settled down at the bottom of the glass. Chalk powder? No. Chalk settled down at the bottom of the glass. 1 spoon milk? Yes. Milk and water got mixed together completely. Oil. Yes, oil floats on the surface of water. The answer would be no, because the oil would not dissolve, it would float on the surface. While doing the experiment, Aisha and Hamid had an argument. Aisha felt that after stirring it, the oil dissolved in water. Hamid did not agree. He said, "Look, the tiny yellow oil drops can still be seen in the water." Aisha said, "Let's wait for some time and then see." "Do you think the oil got dissolved in the water?" "Why do you think so?" Racing drops. Aisha put 2 drops of oil on the lid of her tiffin box. Next to that, she put 2 drops of water and 2 drops of sugar solution. She tilted the lid. She saw some drops slide down quickly while some were left behind. You also try to do the same and then tell which drop went ahead. Why did it slide faster? Where did the water go? One day, Aisha's mother put some water to boil on the stove for making tea. She got busy with something and forgot about it. When she remembered and came to check, she found very little water left in the pan. Think, where did the water go? Could you see the salt after it dissolved in water? If no, why? No, because salt got dissolved completely into the water. Does that mean the water does not have salt? If it has, then where is the salt? Of course, water contains salt. It is completely mixed up with water. What difference did you see in water with salt and water with chalk powder after keeping for some time? Water and salt got mixed together completely while chalk powder settled down at the bottom of the pot. Coming back to our question, think, where did the water go? So the water evaporated. Why did Chitta Babu and Chinna Babu keep their mango jelly in sun. They did so to evaporate water from their mango jelly. At your house, what things are made by drying in the sun? So eatables like mango jelly, buddies and potato chips are made by keeping in the sun. You have washed your handkerchief and you want to dry it quickly. What all can you do? For that, first the water from the handkerchief should be squeezed out properly and then it should be kept in the sun or pressed by iron. Then Dundee March. This incident took place in 1930 before India became independent. For many years, the British had made a law that did not allow people to make salt themselves. They had also put a heavy tax on salt. By this law, people could not make salt even for the use at home. How can anybody live without salt? Gandhiji said. How can a law not allow us to use freely what nature has given? Gandhiji with Gandhiji said, how can a law not allow us to use freely what nature has given? Gandhiji with several other people went on a yatra, long walk from Ahmedabad to the Dandi seashore in Gujarat to protest against this law. Do you know how salt is made? The sea water is collected in shallow beds dug in the sand. Water is allowed to dry in the sun. After the water dries, the salt remains on the ground. So what did we learn today? You have washed your handkerchief and you you want to dry it quickly. How all can you do? So I told the answer. What things do you put in the water to make tea? Which are those things dissolved in water? So we put milk, sugar and ginger in that and tea powder. Then you have been given some mystery pieces, lumps of sugar. Suggest some way to dissolve them quickly. So you can do yourself. So that was all for today. If you like this video and you find this video very helpful to you, so keep watching for more such.